Munson with Munson Music. I'm going to talk about how you can play a song called OD'd in Denver by Hank Williams Jr. And it starts off with this cool little intro around a G major chord. When we play G major, first finger goes to A on the second fret, second finger on the low E string third fret, and third finger on the high E string third fret. And if you strum all those together, it sounds a G major chord and it sounds really, really happy. Now you may also dig on putting the third finger on the B string third, pinky on the high E third, kind of working that for your G major through the song. And timing wise, actually, there's a couple different strum patterns you may want to think about. The main deal here is almost like a 6/8 kind of an idea, which means you kind of have two big beats of threes, which is kind of weird. Kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm just kind of doing downs just to kind of get used to doing that on the right hand, and you may want to try adding a little bit of right hand muting. Now through the recording too, you'll kind of hear some big punches on that, and these are some things called power chords, where instead of doing the whole G major, you may want to think about just putting first finger on the low E third, third finger on the A string fifth fret, kind of just working really big hits. Actually, if you're kind of backing somebody up, that might be kind of a cool thing. You'll hear some power chord hits through the tune. Now another strum pattern though, instead of just kind of feeling that 6 down count, kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you're quick enough, you can kind of get a down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up in that time. Actually, kind of down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which would be kind of a really quick pace of this tune, actually. But you can kind of dig on it. Down, 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 down. So kind of a 6 kind of feel. And then from that intro, then we'll be going into our main verse. We start out on the G major, G, and then we go to a D major chord. And normally you do this first finger on the G second fret, second finger on the high E second fret, and third finger on the B string third fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord and it sounds really, really happy. Now on the D major in general, it can be kind of cool to lift the second finger and make that a D suspended second. Or you could add in the pinky on the high E third for a D suspended chord and kind of say some things around that chord. So kind of adding and subtracting those notes can be cool while you're on Ds. And then we do some more D, and then we go back to G, and more G, da G da 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 G da 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 da, and then we go to C. And then we play C major. First finger goes to B on the first fret, second finger on the D string second fret, and third finger on the A string third fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord and it sounds really, really happy. And then around C's in general, it can be kind of cool to lift the first finger and add a C major 7, or you could add in the pinky on the B string third for C major 9, or another way to play C major 9, we're doing first finger on the D second, second finger on the A third, third finger on the B third, pinky on the high E third, kind of working that for your C major 9. And then from the C we go back to our G, da 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 da, and then a D, da 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 da, G, and another G. If you're digging on the power chords and kind of making those big hits, you could work it that way too. You start out on that G5 power chord, and then for the D, you could do a D5 power chord by doing first finger on the A 5th fret, third finger on the D 7th fret, and then some more D, and then some more D, da 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 da, D da 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 da, back to G, G, more G, da 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 da, G da 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 da, and then you could go to a C5, and then normally you do this first finger on the A 3rd fret, third finger on the D 5th fret, and then from that C, we'll be going back to our G, D, G. So if you want to make it really thick, that might be a cool way to do it. Or randomly, something else that can be kind of cool too is sometimes on the D chord, if you really want to give a lot of weight to point back to G's in general, instead of doing a regular D, you may want to think about using a D7 chord. And normally you do this first finger on the B 1st fret, second finger on the G 2nd fret, third finger on the high E 2nd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, it sounds a D7 chord. It sounds really nasty. Now around D7s, you can kind of lift the third finger, make that a D7 sus2. Or you could add in the pinky on the high E third for D7 sus. And kind of say some things around that chord. And that could give you a lot of weight to get back to the G. So through the verse, you could have kind of that G, G, D, D7 to help point back to G. So you want to kind of make that change, and that kind of feels good to you. G da 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 da, G da da da, C. G, and maybe a D7 da 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 da, G. So you want to kind of consider those ideas too. And something else that I like to add to a song like this too is bass notes. And a lot of times on that first down of the down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, you could throw in a bass for the chord. So on a G, you'd have Louis for the bass. On the D, you'd have the D for the bass. And then when we get to the C, you'd have the A for the bass. So we want to kind of add basses to the chord progression. That could be kind of cool too. So we tried our verse chorus that way. You'd have the G, basically be repeating that verse twice and then going into our bridge part, which kind of mixes up a couple of the things we've been talking about. The weirdest part actually is towards the end. You'll kind of hear this big hit where we almost half a C to a D. And you may want to just make that just big hits. Actually in the recording it just sounds like really big hits. Or you could kind of fill that in with kind of a down, down, up, down, kind of half in the strum pattern, or even a bass down, up, down. If you wanted to kind of fill that in, C with a bass, down, up, down, D with a bass, down, when we get to that spot. So through that bridge, we'd have the C, C, G, G, D, maybe a D7, helps point back to G. And randomly, if you're digging on that 7 leading to D7 leading to G, if you wanted to, when you're about to go to a C chord, it can be kind of cool to use the G7 chord. And normally you do this first finger on the high E, first fret, second finger on the A, second fret, third finger on the low E string, third fret. And that can give you a little bit of push to kind of go back to the C chord. So on that G right before the C chord, you may want to throw in a G7. So we tried it that way through the bridge. We'd have the C, C, G, G, D, or D7, back to G, but then you can go to G7. Going back to C, C, G, and then we got our hits. C, D, G, D, G, G. From there, then we'll be going back into our verse idea. Now, one other thing you may want to try with bass notes, and this is a little weird and kind of challenging, especially at tempo for the tune, but you could kind of alternate. A lot of times what a country bass player will do is play what's called the root of the chord, which is the name of the chord. So G note, for instance, for the G chord. And if you counted up 5 notes on your fingers, G, A, B, C, D, is what we call the 5th of the chord. So you could even work it as a root, down, up on the G, and then play the D for a bass, and then down, up. You hear that a lot in traditional country, actually, kind of that bass, down, up, 5th, or root, down, up, 5th, down, up, G, G. So I'm kind of alternating the low E string for the D string in my bass notes. And then on the D chord, you'd be doing the D string to the A string to get that same sound. B bass, down, up, A bass, down, up, B bass, down, up, A, D, A. And on the C chord, this is the weird one, is you'd be doing the A string 3rd fret for your root, and then taking the 3rd finger and moving it to the low E string 3rd fret to get a G note for your 5th. So kind of the C note to a G note, which you're on an A string on 3rd fret, low E string on 3rd fret. So I'm kind of moving my 3rd finger to kind of cover those notes. So we tried that idea through the verse. Then you have a G, G, D, D7, D7, back to G, 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 C, know at tempo this would be really, really fast, but if you're playing it for yourself, actually, this could be kind of cool even to take it a little bit slower, just to kind of work those bass notes. C, G, D, maybe a D7, back to G, maybe a G7, helps point to C, C, D hits and then the G, D, back to G, and then from there we'll be going into our outro part, which kind of mixes up a couple things. And this is a little weird. On the last G, you do kind of a bass down, up, down, up, and then you may want to hit a big G. It's kind of a big push at the end. So you got G, that's the basics of how you get started through OD'd in Denver by Hank Williams Jr. So, good luck.